Hi all, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing the book break summer book tag. I haven't been tagged to do this, they did it as an open tag, but I just really liked the questions and I thought it'd be fun. And let's get into the prompts. It's really short, there's only 6 questions. I've got the questions up on the screen here, so that's where I'm looking. And yeah, let's get into it. So question 1, start by recommending a book from the country you're now in, as close as you can find to the place you are. So I live near-ish to Bath in the UK, and so the book that I'm recommending is Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. This is one of the shorter Jane Austen novels, and parts of it are set in and around Bath. So yeah, I really enjoy this novel. I enjoy all of the Jane Austens, and it's always fun to see where you live in fiction, even though this is set, obviously this was contemporary to Jane Austen's time, so it's not modern day Bath, but it's still nice to catch a glimpse of it. And yeah, that is the book I'm recommending for this prompt. Question 2, recommend a book from a different county or area of the country. So one thing that this tag has highlighted to me is how few books I read that are actually set in the UK. Most of the books that I read are set in America, or are like fantasy books. Well, I don't read a lot of fantasy, but like alternative Americas, that kind of thing. So that's something I need to change. But a book that I really enjoyed that's set, I think it's in Brighton mostly, it's like set on the south coast of the UK, is The Alibi Girl by C.J. Scouse. She was also the author of Sweet Pea and In Bloom, and this book came out this year and I bought it. It's one of the few times I've bought a book as soon as it comes out. Also, how great is that cover? I love it, and the spine. And yeah, this is set on mostly on the south coast of England. So this is is it a thriller? It's not really a thriller, it's more of a mystery, and we're following a girl, I can't remember what her name is actually, Joanne, and it's just about her life, and it's difficult because I don't want to spoil it. I'll just read you a little bit of the synopsis on the back. So it says, Joanne Haynes has a secret. That is not her real name. And there's more. Her flat isn't hers, her cats aren't hers, even her hair isn't really hers. Nor is she any of the other women she pretends to be. Not the best-selling romance novelist who gets her morning snack from the donut van on the seafront. Nor the pregnant woman in the dental surgery. Nor the chemo patient in the supermarket for whom the cashier feels ever so sorry. They're all just alibis. In fact, the only thing real about Joanne is that nobody can find out who she really is, but someone has got too close. It looks like her alibis are about to run out. I loved this. I read it in I think 1 or 2 sittings this year, and I thought it was good fun. It's pretty dark though, so check the content warnings before you pick it up. Question 3, recommend you a book that reminds you of summers when you were young. For me, there is really only one book that I could recommend for this, and that's The Borrowers by Mary Norton. I think I've talked about this book at length in other videos, so I will be quick here, but this is the book of my childhood. When my brother and I were little, we used to go to my nan and granddad's for at least 2 weeks of the summer holidays, and I remember reading and rereading this book and the others in the series. And my nan even used to put, like, because this is, in case you don't know, this is a book about, as you can see them here, like tiny people that live under the floorboards or in the walls of a house, and it's just so creative and imaginative. And one of the things that they use is safety pins as like locks, and my nan used to leave safety pins and things like near the skirting boards to just kind of make me think that the borrowers had been there, or like little spools of cotton, and yeah, it was just really magical. And it's always a book that makes me think of my childhood summers. Question 4, recommend a book from a country you visited before. So I'm going to recommend Madeline Miller, The Song of Achilles. This is set in ancient Greece. Gary and I went to Greece for our honeymoon last year, so it's got a very special place in my heart, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I also really liked Circe by Madeline Miller, which again is set in ancient Greece, but actually I think of the two I prefer The Song of Achilles. This is basically the story of Achilles retold from the perspective of Patroclus. I think this has been a little while since I've read it, and it's got a male romance in it, and yeah, it's the story of Achilles in ancient Greece, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I love this edition. I've seen a few editions, but I think this is my favourite. Question 4, recommend a book from a country you'd like to visit next. I have gone with The Wonder by Emma Donoghue. This is set in Ireland. I have never been to Ireland, which is dreadful given that I live in England. I loved this book. This is historical fiction, and it's basically the story of a young English nurse who is sent to rural Ireland to a girl who claims to not have eaten for 3 months and is saying that she's surviving from, I think it's like the will of God is sustaining her. And so this nurse is dispatched to A, check on the girl, and B, work out what's going on. I really enjoyed it. I could not put it down. It's got a beautiful cover, although I have like worn bits of it off. But yeah, this is set in Ireland. I have never been there and I would absolutely love to go. Question 6, and the last question, is recommend a book from the furthest away place you can find. So yeah, doing this tag has made me realise that I read way too much that's set in America, so I need to expand my reading horizons quite a lot. So if you can recommend me any books from far away from England, then please drop me a comment and let me know. But the book that I've gone for this prompt is Half of Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, which I read earlier this year. Absolutely loved it. If you're going to pick this up, I did a combination of reading it physically and listening to the audiobook, which is on Scribd. The audiobook narrator is brilliant, and it's things like people's names and place names, you get them pronounced properly, and I just really felt like it added to the experience of reading this book. So this is set in 1960s in Nigeria, and it's based around the civil war that took place there. Again, there are content warnings for this book, so please check those before you pick this up. This is the only book by this author that I've read so far, but I will definitely be reading more. The writing is absolutely stunning and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So those are all the books, those are all the prompts. I'm going to tag a couple of people. I'm going to tag Simone from Me, Simone and I, and Leanne from Literary Diversions. Anybody else? Oh, and Shannon from 155 Books. I'm going to tag you through because I would love to see your answers to this. Like I said, recommend me a book that's set in a far off place, far from England, where I'm currently sat, so that I can expand my reading horizons, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks all. Bye!